Hello everyone. Again, welcome to the chapter 1 of AWS Cloud Career. As part of this chapter, we will be discussing a couple of case studies and how do you prepare yourself for a job interview based on the actual case studies. Then we'll talk about a couple of very commonly asked questions when you start the interview process for an AWS. Then we'll discuss several 5 or 6 questions that are always bound to happen when you start your AWS interview, and then the discussion around transitioning career to AWS cloud, and then one or two specific training that you should really focus on AWS. There are at least 20 different types of training. So with that, let's move on to the the case study driven. Um, like I said, these case studies are real practical case studies that have been projects that have been implemented on AWS cloud. That includes the data migrations, the application migrations, or actual new AI/ML driven projects. So during this training, you will understand challenges in implementing the AWS projects, applying design principles such as reliability, performance, scalability, security, roles and responsibility of various team members. For example, were you playing a role of a DevOps, or were you playing a role of a developer writing the Python code, or were you the one who was designing the AWS services, right? Then I think very commonly asked question is around how do you manage the IAM within AWS. AWS is very particular about which services can assume which role and who can access what. So I think you should, as part of your interview discussion, you should definitely talk about role-based controls using IAM. Then we'll talk about we have to discuss about the serverless architecture model SAM. AWS is very big on using the SAM. Very fewer and fewer companies are using the EC2 instance of cloud anymore. They are going towards more the Lambdas and the serverless architecture. Common gotchas that occurs within AWS. How do you interact with the cloud COE? What are the paths to productions and things like that that you should be prepared for it, especially around the data migration. Um, and then production deployment. Remember, cloud. Most of the production deployment in cloud is done either using CloudFormation or Terraform. Very fewer organizations allow you to access the AWS console in production. So this is probably a good time to sort of, at least at a higher level, discuss your capabilities of how you manage a project using CloudFormation or Terraform to deploy the code into production. Not only the code, but also create the infrastructure. So some of this training, which you will see as part of chapter 2, will discuss the points that I just laid out on this slide. So get ready to prepare your understanding about the issues.